pieces and assemblage will be at, what is it, WB Labs? On Saturday from 6 to 9. The particular piece that I will have in there is called Break Glass in Case of Institutional Racism. And it has a number of images. In particular, in 1980 when I was in Singapore on a business trip, I bought a tube of toothpaste called Darkies.
Yeah.
And it's an image that they have on there of a black guy with a top hat with a big smile. And I kept that in my dresser drawer for a long time. And then this last year, for Black History Month, I decided to create this. And so, anyhow, the piece will be on display up in that building. So, up on the 8th floor. I don't know if any of you have been there before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you get the toothpaste?
Huh?
When did you get the toothpaste?
I bought the toothpaste in 1980.
Oh, okay, yeah, they were selling it back in the day, and then they found it was in Chinatown, no
No,
coffee.
they still make it,
Really?
but it's called Marky's now. But they still do have a logo of a black man in a top hat.
Yeah, the minstrel kind of person.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, that's really an appropriate title for your piece. I think you've seen it before.
yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm Susanna Starr, and I do oil painting, figurative and representational work. And right now I'm working on a show with some help from the UN High Commission on Refugees to put together a show for them. So I'm working on that right now. And I've been a member of CALB since the beginning. Hi, I'm Johanna Hernandez. I've been a member for 2 or 3 years, and I work full time. I usually work double time. I paint. I try to get it out there to a lot of gallery, and that's all. Thanks.
I'm Martin Espino. I've been playing music for 50 years. I just had to add it right now. I can't believe that. And 41 years is researching the instruments and culture of my ancient Mexico. And that's what I present all over the in and out of California. Residencies, teaching, working with preschoolers all the way to adults, make instruments. I also paint. I play experimental music and I do nothing but play it.
Awesome. I'm Renee. I am a creative entrepreneur here. It's called Robot, and essentially we do a lot of creative events. We have a record label and so on and so forth. I've been around this facility a while. We had the Beat Theater show here a few years back, and that was me and Tony's little thing. Yeah, we have another event coming up April 9th. It's a creative networking and showcase of some local artists. So I have flyers here, so afterwards if you want to check it out. I think it's fun. And we'll be selling tickets at Fingerprints, Made in Long Beach, and at the Grassland.
Hello everyone, my name is Mark Wheeler. I'm a musician. I play guitar in a band called Slushbox. It's been around for a little while. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm also in a band called Bungalow where I'm the lead singer. And I teach guitar lessons on the side. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
My name's Malik Sida. I own Gallery Helada, and I also manage the second set of the art form. So that's how you know me. And I've been a CALB member since the beginning.
My name's Tony Tomaselli, and I'm a painter and sculptor, and I do ceramics and jewelry and write poetry. Eric Almanza. This is the first meeting I've attended, so. I'm a Chicano figurative painter, and I've lived in Long Beach since 2003. I've had my studio in downtown LA, but as of March 1st, my studio is down in Long Beach, and I'm ready to, immerse myself in the Long Beach art culture and art scene. I currently have a solo show up until about March 22nd or so at Gallery Azul in San Pedro, and I've got some work up at the Luz de Jesus Gallery in Los Angeles, Los Feliz area until March 24th. Thank you.
My name is Ron Coleman. I'm not an artist. I work for software. I arrived in Long Beach about a year ago, and just fell in love with all the culture and art and community. So that's why I'm here to do that now.
Hello, my name is Alvin Stams. I've been a member of CALB for almost 2 years now. 2005, I got out of the corporate world and trying to start my artistic self again. I'm dabbling back in music. Most of my work has been in photography. Been in a couple of shows here at CALB. For the month of April, we're going to have work shown at the Museum of Latin American Arts. I do a lot of work with the VA. I'm a tutor over there. I tutor digital processing, digital camera. We put on shows several times a year, either at the VA or we're invited to several galleries, like the Gina Woodruff Gallery. We go there once a year. We go there mostly in August, so we'll be there again August 13th. And that's it, I think.
Antonio Ruiz, publisher was a print magazine, is now online, called philosophy-magazine.com, and we're still going through a whole getting our acts together, and you'll start seeing, we're doing a relaunch in May, but we've got content already. We're going to do a lot of focus, probably about a quarter of our stuff will be about Long Beach arts.
Hi, my name is Maha Afra. I'm the director of the resident dance company here and a board member. We offer free classes every Sunday, 10:30 to 12:30, and we have a senior citizen dance group. We just recruited a very young person. We're just showing today. So come check it out, please. And we have concerts and collaboration, and we're open to collaborating. So if you want something with dancing, out of the box, just let me know.
The dance classes on Sundays, like their age limit or?
Adult.
Oh, just adult?
Adult, yeah.
Okay.
We come bringing back the kids dance,
Okay.
but we're not ready yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and 30 to 23.
All right, everyone, so thank you for, did we get everybody?
No,
Hi.
Rich.
I'm Rick Harvey. I am an artist and a poet, and I published this book called 20 Poems, 20 Paintings, a Creative Warriors Journal in August of last year. It's an empowerment book I designed to help people process major life challenges by using creativity and connectivity. There's a writing component and there's a art component, and a lot of people here have been involved in getting it out there. I'm very grateful. We just plug for definitely, well, there are a lot of people who have been here in a big way for me in this room, working my way around. Johanna helped present at Mark and Sharon of Slush Box played at the workshop. Maha and her dance troupe did an amazing dance. do is promote community. We're all doing that, but this is the major, the creative part of this is very important, but the connectivity part is probably more important because that's what the world needs more than anything today, in my opinion. I'm actually looking for people to collaborate with again. I want to do a workshop, and I'd like to have a video to, come out with in the end. I'm trying to build this out, trying to get people access to this wonderful opportunity to heal and connect, and just getting a lot of encouraging feedback that just hasn't gotten, to that tilting point where it needs to be to grow significantly. So I'm looking for help with that. I'm going to pass around some cards since I'm talking to you now, and if anybody would like to, Paul's going to give support. I mean, there's just a lot of great people here, and we're very fortunate. I also want to thank Efren and Victor and everybody else who's just been making this happen, the board members. I've been out and about and trying to promote, so I haven't been able to really volunteer on this level that I kind of would like to, but this is more than enough for me to try and do. But thank you very much for your service, all of you, for making stuff like this possible.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for sharing and introducing yourselves. Some of you guys may know, the mission of the Cultural Alliance of Long Beach is to support working artists of all ages in all artistic disciplines and connect them with the public through innovative collaborations, dialogues, promotions, and education in a cutting-edge environment. We're all volunteers here. There's nobody's on payroll, so we're all looking for more people to help us, with our mission. So that's, we're doing different things. Where our board is, now we have an active board members, which are Mike Wiley, the owner of the building, president, Maha Afra, director of dance, performing arts, Victor Ladd, treasurer, Keith Lili, and Claudio Garzon, environmental artist, myself, and Karen, this honorary board member currently. She had to kind of take a break from this, take care of her health, and so that's what the status is with the board. The situation with our current board members. We're in the process of adding more board members. Some of you guys picked up applications from Victor and submitted them. Just to let you guys know that we are looking at those applications. We are in the process of interviewing those applicants, and by next month we most likely will be adding more board members to add to our collaborative efforts. So that's the board members updates. Our membership, our status is up to date. So we're nonprofit. Memberships are $25 for students and seniors, $50 for regular prices, and that's for 1 year. So anything that you do as far as a show that's a Cultural Alliance show, especially in the venues, and you need to be a member. The main reason is that being a member, you are covered with insurance from our association with Partners of Parks. So, that's a good deal. Another thing that, as far as insurance goes, you can request a copy of that, but in writing from Victor, detail what other event you're going to be doing outside of the physical location here. And as a CALB member, you may get a some kind of coverage for that, but it needs to be a certain number of days, and Victor's not here, so I can't tell you how many days. But just know that, like Martin, for example, performs at libraries, and he was asking about that. But Victor will talk to Victor about that. But just to let you know that those are great benefits because they don't only apply to our location, but also outside of this location. So at the end, we are an organization, and if we have a space, we can work with the space. If we don't, we can work elsewhere. Okay. All right. So basically, we have this space. Some of you guys know the Madhouse on Pacific. We can also continue to do pop-up exhibitions. If any of you wants to help us acquire more spaces, please do so. We can do curating shows elsewhere. We can acquire more spaces. We are also participating in community events outside, like for example, festivals that happen, community festivals like the Funk Festival, Day of the Dead, and other cultural celebrations. So moving right along to our upcoming opportunities, one of them that is really great, I think, is an open call for art for the office of Lina Gonzalez of District 1. She'd asked me to curate a show for her office, or basically it's to put artwork in her office. It's not like readily available for the public. I mean, you might want to make an appointment if you want to go see the artwork, but it's inside of her working office at City Hall. It's literally just one wall. The other walls they're going to use for other documents they're going to frame. But we only have one wall, and I really want to present the artwork really well as a curator. So I'm not going to hang it salon style. So because as an artist myself, I like to have the artwork well represented, where it's enough space is given and it's presented well. So we're gonna have it's limited artists, but I want you to submit your artwork. The way that's gonna, some of you guys already did, by the way. So just to let you know, if you send me an email with those images, there's a size limitation just because there's limited space. The way it's going to work down, if you meet those requirements, then I'm going to submit those images to her office, and they're going to select the artists that are going to be exhibited. And I didn't put it in the call out, but there is a stipend that the artist who selected will receive. I don't know how much it is or what it is, so I didn't put it out there because I don't know the details. But you will be, if you're selected to exhibit, you will be given a stipend, which is pending to be determined.
What's the size limitation?
18 by 24. So if anything's bigger, I mean, unfortunately, we're just restricted with space.
And what's the length of the exhibition?
It's going to be 3 months. Starting in April. So the deadline for that is March 26th. So just send me an email, and I also put out the call for artists, the link on the event.
Is there a limit on pieces you can submit?
You can submit as many as you like, but just know that if selected, only one art piece per artist. So yeah, and one more thing to add to that, the artists that reside in First District would have a first priority. Second priority will given to all other district Long Beach artists. That's how that's going to work out. Any more questions about that? But I can talk to me afterwards.
So what area is the First District?
I'm sorry?
What area is the First District?
There's a map. It's like a certain map, but I'll put a copy of the. But you know what? Even if you reside in Long Beach, just submit. One of the requirements is you add your address to it, and that's how they're going to determine.
Outside of downtown here, so.
You're probably First District. Yeah. But yeah, I'll put the map out there. But yeah, you're supposed to.
The wall space, which is estimated about like this.
Oh, it's really like I don't want to discourage you guys from submitting because it's a 3-month show, and the reason why I want to present it well, it's in our office. There's probably going to be other city officials or other city business people going there, and I want your art to be to stand out good, not just like slapped on the wall. So It's a 3-month, you know, it's limited space. I mean, I wish it was more, but 3 months is a great deal. And then once you're selected, I'll give you the details for like drop off or pickup and, waivers or things that,
So, is your office like 12 by 12?
you just want an area, okay, it's really like from that column to this one. So, I mean, okay, so it's 5 artists, 1 artist a piece. So that's, I didn't want to put that out there to discourage, I don't want to discourage people, but that's what it looks like realistically.
Yeah, so that's going to be the cream of the crop.
It's 5 artists, 1 artist a piece, that's what it's about.
Oh, yeah.
If we, maybe, if they submit smaller pieces, maybe more artists, but no larger than 18 by 24. Like if more artists submit smaller ones, maybe it's 10 artists. But averaging 18 by 24, 5 artists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, it's kind of small. I didn't want to mention that, but
Yeah, I mean, I've never been to any of the council members.
so honestly, they're not going to be like a formal reception, but there will be like a recognition where they give you like some kind of certificate type of deal. And once you're selected, or those are the people that are selected will be given those details. About
that, I don't have a question, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Is it only what can be put on a wall, or could it be like a sculpture?
Small sculptures as well. Small sculptures. If you guys follow the CALB Facebook, I put an event invite on there with all the details, and you can personal message me, and I can tell you more about it. If there's only 2 requirements for theme. One of them is like the hours that are that motivate social change. I mean, it's kind of broad, and the other one is there could be Long Beach theme inspired artworks. The main thing is to exhibit Long Beach artists, if you want to put it that way. So that was the city officials working with local organizations like CALB. The other event I have here that's a CALB event, it's open rehearsal. Well, it's not an event, it's an open rehearsal. Maha does.
Yeah, we have open rehearsals Mondays and Wednesdays. Actually, this is our rehearsal time, so that's why they're in the back to give space for the meeting. Please feel free to come in 6:30 to 9:30, sometimes to 10. Sometimes we cancel because we have other shows or whatever. But I'm going to post if the rehearsals are canceled on the Facebook, on the CAD Facebook.
I'll give you my card.
Yes, thank you. So feel free to drop in if you want to dance with us, stretch, whatever you'd like to do is fine. And then free parent and children art activities.
You want to talk about that?
I teach art classes to the local children that are around here. It's painting and sculpture. If you walk in the back, you can see all the painting projects that they have displayed back there. And that's Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. The Lego thing's been thrown out the window. Nobody wants to play with Legos.
So you want me to take it off the...
Yeah.
Okay, so no more Legos.
And we get pretty big turnouts. It's pretty packed out there. Sometimes we have to go into the hall space, and I love teaching those classes, and they're really great. If any of you guys want to come and follow me a few times. It's kind of hectic.
Mondays and Fridays? Or?
Monday, Tuesdays, and
Oh,
Fridays.
Tuesday. Okay, I'll add Tuesday because I thought it was only Mondays and Fridays. So Tuesdays as well.
Tuesdays was the Legos.
So it's all just art now. Okay.
Yeah, nobody wants to play with Legos.
And I did talk about our summer classes. They're really open all ages, 18 and over, just for liability purposes. And this is from the board. We met yesterday, and we're ready. All the paperwork for reserving the space is ready. So please start thinking of your events and submitting
Your idea?
your ideas. We're ready to bring it back and have wonderful things happening. Art, dance, theater, poetry, collaboration, whatever you need.
The first meeting that we had last month, you said that the powers that be gave us 3 months to plan ahead.
Yeah, just know that if you are looking to book an event, don't count on anything beyond 3 months. Just
be
Was
wise.
that 3
and-
months from January or 3 months from
Like
now?
3 months from now, like every time you submit something, look at 3 months ahead, no further than that, just because it's still available for lease. And if it does become then we have to move to the madhouse or somewhere else. But that's the only reason for that, but thank you.
But they gave us the okay for 3 months from today.
It's 3 months at a time if, that's kind of how we're using the space temporarily.
It's a running 3-month period. Next week, it's 3 months.
3 months.
Because if you started 3 months in January, it's already March.
Yeah.
4 months.
So if you got
3 months from the day that you're starting your.
I was wondering if they gave us another 3 months.
No,
Yeah.
it's a running window.
Yeah, it's going on and on and on.
Well, at any given time, he could lease this place out to somebody,
That's
pay his big rent, and then we're out.
But it sounds like you would get.
I've got a question, Efren.
Yes.
You keep on talking about insurance, but there's no explanation of what this insurance does. Is it liability?
You asked an excellent question.
So if one holds an exhibit here and somebody falls and trips, is it liability that covers their injuries? And, or if somebody has artwork or a sculpture or a band instrument that's stolen, does it cover that?
Those are all great questions, and I thought about those. We definitely there's limitations. I'm sure there is because they can't cover everything. I'm sure,
Well, there's a there.
but I don't know the details. The Victor as our treasurer because he collects the money from the membership fees, and he communicates directly with Partners of Parks. He can actually find out those specific details. And honestly, I don't know, but I should, and I'm gonna make sure that we, as board members, know that because.
Because if you give people that information, then it makes their annual dues much more valuable.
And the thing to know is like, you can't even do a show here without membership. So, just, I, at my own organization that's aside from CALB, like that I do it separate. Every time I curate a show, I charge a participation fee just because there's cost and all that. And most of the time, I ask the artists to sign a waiver or bring their own insurance if they ask for one. So, I've never heard of, even $50 for a. But you're right. We need to know what it covers and what it doesn't. But for the meantime, it's just know that you need to be a member so that the insurance covers. And it's also the owner wouldn't let us do anything without that because it also protects him in a way. So, but those details are, we definitely got to talk to Victor, and we all should know those things.
From the show I did in January, they told us the insurance covered all our pieces, any material that we had. Basically covered the artist and your work. So if anything happened to your artwork or instruments or whatever while it was in here, you'll be covered.
One of the things that I know from from what I learned at the art school is that a lot of times the insurers will ask you for your artwork needs to be professionally appraised. So for instance, I love my art, so I think it's worth millions of dollars. But they're probably not going to pay me what I think is worth or what maybe the price might say. So just know that that they might dispute. Like you might say it costs. Just be mindful of that. Richard, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, this is the part where it's off somewhere on the nebulous now.
Okay.
If it comes back.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, from the minutes of last meeting, it says Keith and Victor stress that the membership is required due to our insurance under the parks and rec, and clarified that they are still working on insurance forms with coverage information. So I'm sure that they will get that to us once they finish
So it may not be covered
project.
until they get done.
So,
Jean has a question.
Martin?
I don't know how many people have actually taken advantage of getting that paperwork from Victor. Anybody here?
yeah.
What?
Right here. This one?
I mean, you've gotten it?
Oh, the membership one.
The membership?
No, for the insurance.
No.
As I said, from the meeting, we were working on that form.
Yeah, okay,
Still
so I'm
working
probably gonna
on
be
it.
one of the first ones that'll be able to tell you about it, because, I was telling him about a month or so ago, there was a museum, a library that wanted me to go and do some performance there, and I work with a lot of them, and it's starting to come around, but that's another story where they're starting to ask for insurance. Somebody must have sued somebody, that's the only thing I can think of, but otherwise, I've been in the library since '73, and nobody asked that. But, I've been in contact with Victor and Karen, and they told me just let us know what this event is, where it is, and then we'll go back to the,
Partners and
I'm not
Parks.
sure if it's Partners in Parks or with the insurance company, and find out what they need. So what happened today is I got the call from the library, because I thought they just dropped off the face of the earth, and she says, oh, Martina, sorry I didn't call you. I'm going to send you all these forms that the library needs, and it had all kinds of, I've never seen, I didn't even look at them yet, there's about 6 forms. And she sent me a bunch of forms that have to be signed, and proof of insurance, and she couldn't even tell me what was on it. She goes, it's all new to us too. So she sent it to me, and then what I did is I sent it to Victor and Karen, said, please look at this because it needs to get done right away to preserve the dates that they're asking me for. So when I find out about it, I'm going to get it all printed out and look at it, and I can tell you what the experience was like. But basically, I'm going to go in and do a performance, and part of my performances in the library is to do interactive things, something I've done for 30-something years, where I involve the audience playing all my instruments with me, and I've done it for so long that it's down, but it's still, it doesn't matter who you are, what level you are, they're going to ask you for insurance to find out, are you going to bring something with a drumstick that has a splinter on it, or something they're going to hold and they drop it on their foot and they break their toe, So they're probably worried about all kinds of weird things like that.
So I remember that what Victor mentioned is that what they won't do is just give you a copy so you can just go and use it anywhere.
Yeah.
What they won't do that. You have certain number of days in advance. You submit a written request for coverage for a particular event, specifying the times, the dates, and so. Once that gets approved, you need to do that in advance, and once that gets approved, it'll specify that you can, it covers you for that event. So that document's only good for that event, and then
Right.
you do another event, you have to
Submit again,
yeah. So that's kind of how that's going to work.
as you need.
And that's for outside events, for everything that we do in this location, we're covered as long as you're a member.
This one's in a library in Santa Ana, so I'll let you know what happens. Okay.
I don't know when I joined last time, so are you able to track?
There's a database, Victor manages that. Since he takes the payment, he'll tell you whether you're still good or you need to renew. But there is a database, yeah.
Okay.
And excuse me for talking about that due thing. I got my checkbook for the due, but I don't know when it's due. But I know I need to give it to him. And he said drop it off. But do I drop it off with one of you guys, or do I still wait?
Fine.
Okay, I'll give it to you, Mama. All right.
Thank you.
20. How much was it?
She said yes, she'll accept your check.
Yeah, he's asking how much.
Oh, for 25 for seniors or students, 50 regulars. So.
Okay. All right, cool.
So I'll get to my birthday. 4 days, just come.
Okay, anybody has anything to announce?
Do we have any plans for the next show, or are these walls just going to be empty for
Well,
the next few
we need
months?
people to submit. That's why I said we're ready to accept submissions.
So start submitting ideas and
And not only for the walls, but anything, for music, performances, we're not only art on the wall, we're more than that.
So if you're the person submitting the proposal for the, we're talking about art, physical art, painting, sculpture, etc., would you also be the curator?
if you want to curate a show, you can submit a show where you're curating a show. The only thing
I would imagine that the person that's proposing is going to be the one curating.
we talked about exhibiting high quality, trying to elevate our what, the way we exhibit our work. So if you have experience with curating, you may add your experience there. If you don't, you just say, you don't, you can find one, or some of us, myself, I can probably assist with that, but there's going to be certain requirements and things like that. What we don't want is the artwork to be kind of like just random, we want your art to be presented well, so it's required that you have an experienced curator when you are displaying visual art. And for performance art, Baja can help you with, with advice.
There's a guideline on cleanup.
Yes.
And
It's all in the application.
yes, we have Victor's is rewriting the stuff that we already talked about.
It's finalized.
Right, finalized. Okay, so everything's settled as far as like what the guidelines, the requirements. So just start submitting, and then once we'll get back to you with whether your ideas and what you can do and cannot do kind of deal. Who was that? Was it Martin or?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
I just want to know, do you have the applications with you?
And I don't have it with me, but Victor would be.
So the next.
Yes.
You can contact Victor, post on the Facebook, the CALB Facebook, a message to Victor and say you need an application.
It's called the space reservation form. When you fill it out. If you get, Victor has those, but if you don't, are not buddies with, or you don't have his contact me, I'll communicate with Victor and get you in contact with them.
One question, who do I write the due to?
CALB.
Cultural Alliance of Loans.
Mm-hmm.
Not too much, right?
Oh, yeah.
And leave room for extra zeros.
Exactly.
Extra zero.
Hundreds would be preferred. On August 15th of 2015, I launched this book at CALB Shoreline. Maha was there. She was, just to give you a little taste of what happened, if you weren't there, we had such an amazing collection of creative people get together, and I love to share my, work and do it in a workshop format, but I prefer to do it as a collaboration with other artists and musicians, just to bring all different sorts of creativity into it. We had just the culmination. Maha and Dave, Maha's troupe was dancing with veils, beautiful pastel veils. Dave was playing jazz, and we had a huge piece of butcher paper on the wall that I now have in my room, which we made a mural. People had a choice at the end as they were processing the creativity that would come up with through the day, to either participate in creating the mural, or to dance, or to work on their own work. And what really excites me about doing this type of thing in this environment with a few people is because I've got such wonderful creative influences coming into it. The artwork that came out of that workshop to me was just it's one of my greatest treasures. I love it. And what I'm going to do is am I allowed to post on the CALB?
If you want to share, just put it there, and I will share your ideas. We also share ideas if you want to.
Well, what I want to do is post from the event page from when I did it on the 15th of April, so you can see what everybody got together and did. So I want to collaborate with people. I'm looking at bringing musicians. In the middle of the workshop, we had a guy who was a cancer survivor who played didgeridoo, read one of my poems, which is called A Note to Cancer. It's basically, I'm a brain cancer survivor, for those of you who haven't met me, and that's where a lot of this came from.
he had actually cured himself with sound healing. He does didgeridoo. He played didgeridoo, he read the poem, and while he was playing didgeridoo, people were creating their own artwork. Normally, that's called a sound bath. Normally people will lay on their backs in shavasana like in yoga and listen to the healing vibrations, but my idea was to bring healing vibrations into people's artwork, and what came out of it was truly, to me, stunning. So it really excites me to have people of your caliber to collaborate with, and I'm hoping that all of you will participate and, in some way be involved in that. If you're a poet, it doesn't have to be all about my poetry. If you are a musician, I don't know, just I'll be setting up with them probably for something in April. So
Just
look
write
for it
a
to come out.
proposal and,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. And I'm especially looking for somebody to videotape, and so we can, cut it back and I can use it to promote. Thanks for your attention, I appreciate it.
anybody else wants to share any other things? Our agenda, we're pretty much like, we cover all our points. Unfortunately, Victor wasn't here to elaborate on that, but we'll definitely, and he's very accessible. Those of you that have his contact, just give him a call or email and he'll get right back to you. So he's really good about that.
And if you have things to add to the agenda, please
Yes.
do it, because we don't want to be the ones talking, or after the one talking.
So, that's why we're set up this way, so you guys can.
I did want to share that you encouraged us to go see Ms. Suarez, the new director of Council for the Arts Council for Long Beach, and it was at Manola, and I thought it was pretty packed.
Yes, it
You
was.
were there, Victor, myself, we were a couple other members from here. But for the most part, it was people, a big cross-section of people that were VIP to,
Yeah.
middle of the road to just regular artists coming curious. I believe that she answered questions fairly well. I was there from 5 till 6:15, and then I had to leave. But what did you think of her presentation?
Griselda Suarez, the new executive director of the Arts Council. She's already working as the new executive director. She lives in Long Beach, comes from East LA, or that's where her background is. But she is also a professor and has a background in performance art. She answered a lot of, Paula says, she answered a lot of questions as to what her vision or what she's looking forward to with the Arts Council. So she was well received. It was at the Mola Museum. A lot of people from the artist community were there. So that's the official organization that the city works with as far as like the funding. City money goes directly to them, and then you apply for grants. And it's what it is. It's a limited amount of funds, but even though we wish for something greater than that, we still encourage you guys to apply for as many grants as possible you can get. Ramon received a fellowship, I believe, for this time. Ramon's a CALB member, so that's a good thing. If I'm not mistaken, but Ramon was one of the recipients of the fellowship. The other guy, Gary Alvarez, I don't know if he ever joined CALB, but he came to a few meetings before. He's a filmmaker. So we encourage you guys to continue to apply for the Arts Council grants, and the micro grants applications are due every 15th of the month, and every month they're giving them out. I just asked if they still have funds for those. They talked to Lisa DeSchmidt, is the person at the Arts Council who would give you all the info for their grants.
And I would like to encourage you to read their strategic plan, because they are the ones that are going to get this 1%, and then they decide
you know,
And it's a 17-page strategic plan that was submitted to the
yeah.
city manager. So next month, we will hear whether it's a good go or.
Yes, next month there's gonna be, and we have to look at the city website to find out, and I'll probably call them if I can find the info, because there's gonna be another city hall meeting where the city manager is gonna come back with a review of the feasibility report of where where they can, you know, how they're looking at a permanent funding 1% for the arts, which means that every development plan, 1% of that budget would be for art. So it's not determined yet where those funds are coming from. It's not determined whether those are going to be local artists only or all artists. None of that is determined. It's not determined whether the Arts Council is going to manage that, but the Arts Council, they, you know, of course they're going to try to, but we encourage you to go to City Hall and make public comment and do as much as, many of you been there many times, so we encourage you guys to not give up and continue to advocate.
Because the squeaky wheel just get the grease, you know? You know, you get the grease. And the ones that don't say anything, they get pushed in the corner.
Page 15 of that report talks about the stakeholders of the arts, and they actually have names of individuals they interviewed. There's 4 artists on there, and I know all 4 of them. 2 of them no longer live in Long Beach. So that tells you, you know, kind of like, so we need to be more involved, and that's just, you know, I encourage you guys to.
Wouldn't it be nice if we got a couple of bucks to pay for this place?
Oh, it'd be awesome. So, yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Oh, I would like to introduce the candidate that's running for 2nd District.
Oh, come on.
You made it.
You made it.
Yes, I did. I ran out of the forum to make
Fantastic.
it here.
I think the last meeting, Mr. Gray was here.
Okay.
And so this is our group. We're
Hi, come on in.
Yes, all right, thank
go
you.
ahead.
Efren, this is Joan.
Yes,
Yes,
we've
we-
met.
we-
He's a supporter.
Hi,
Paula.
Diego.
This is our meeting. We're still here, and we're glad you're here. Can you take some time to?
Yes, absolutely. I hope I'm not interrupting.
No, we're
because I could wait.
winding down.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm so glad I was able to make it. We had a candidates forum tonight, and I rushed out of there to make it here today. So I'll introduce some of you. I see some familiar faces. I'll introduce myself for those folks who I haven't had the pleasure of meeting before. My name is Joanne Garnica. I'm running for City Council here in the 2nd District, or this is technically the 1st District, but just a few streets over 2nd District. I'm a lifelong Long Beach resident. I grew up here in the 1st District, actually, in the Washington neighborhood. And grew up there with my siblings and a single mom with limited resources. And I'm happy to say that, you know, now I've enjoyed some success. But growing up, I didn't quite know the challenges that were very real as a kid. You kind of only know what you know. And so I grew up thinking I was middle class in that neighborhood. And in the 80s, if you know 15th and Cedar, it was pretty tough. But my mom would always tell us that we had to help the less fortunate. And so therefore, that really never meant the less fortunate was me. So I have a business in the 2nd District here in Long Beach. I'm an interior designer. And I'm happy to say that I work with a lot of artists. So as a creative myself, I am a huge supporter of the arts. Not only do I personally support artists by buying art for my clients and makers and furniture makers and that sort of thing, but just in my personal life, I'm a big consumer of the arts and local makers and that sort of thing. I want to make sure, so I'm here today because one, I'm proudly endorsed by artists in the community, and just to tell you and to share with you that I'm a big proponent of the arts. Now, we talked about the 1% for the arts, and Efren, I came up to him at one of the forums, and he had the 1% for the arts. And I came to him and I said, I'm so glad you're holding up that sign, because here as a city, I feel that we could definitely do a better job at supporting our artists and incorporating more art into our public spaces.
Now, in the downtown, we do have a 1% for the arts already, and that's with private developments. So any new private development that goes up here in the downtown has to incorporate 1% for the arts. The 1% that we talk about now is for public projects. So any new public project, should this pass, would be required to add 1% of their overall total budget. So I'm a big supporter of that. And one of the things that I was fortunate enough to talk to Efren about was, how do we go about making sure that as a city, we're supporting our local artists, and we are really pushing towards an environment that is conducive for creativity and thriving of our art creators. And he had mentioned a city department, right? But I know that based on some budget deficits that we have and how cumbersome sometimes government can be, what I recommend is an art commission. And so that commission is made up of folks just like you in this room. So I know that creating a commission would be a lot less challenging than creating a new department as we face some budget deficits in our city. And again, we wouldn't have a city employee who may or may not have anything to do with the arts. We would have actual artists and people in the community that are integrated into the arts to make the decision in terms of how we spend our 1%. And making sure that we have viable solutions moving forward to incorporate art in the city. So I want to thank you again for the opportunity to be here and introduce myself to those I don't know, and let you know that, again, I am the biggest supporter of the arts here in the city, and I feel a kinship as a creative myself. So thank you for all that you do. I had a great conversation with a few folks here in the room, and let me tell you, this is a passionate group of people. Passionate group of people with a drive and a desire to do a lot of great things. And I know Merrick from the East Village Association, and he is one of our biggest arts enthusiasts and supporters and drivers in the East Village. And so, Merrick, thank you for that. And I really appreciate everything that you do. I know that it's a volunteer basis, and I know how much that is as a volunteer myself in the community. So I will be around to answer any questions. I can answer any questions now as I would love to publicly, because maybe you have some of the same questions.
I would like to know where I could get signed to put in my window.
I have some in my car now.
Oh!
So if anybody else wants a sign, I have some.
Immediate gratification.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was putting them in my car and I felt like a real estate agent. I have to remember, I'm not a real estate agent.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And your interior design business is right there in the promenade.
It is.
And
It's right next to Beachwood Barbecue. We are the only, right, tough place to be. We're the only non-restaurant space on the promenade. And you know, I have to say that part of the conversation that we had at the Brass Lab a couple of weeks ago was how tough it was. So having an interior design business, and I've had it for 13 years. When the economy went down, the first sign that the belt was getting a little tighter is my clients started cutting out art. And then they started cutting out all the services altogether. And so my business dropped 80% during that time.
Wow.
And it was challenging beyond belief. I can't tell you. To say that feels like the biggest understatement of the century. But it was that hard work, perseverance, and determination that I've learned from my mom after all these years that I got creative. You know, as a creative, I got even more creative to figure out how to make it through that economy. But not only make it through, I'm happy to say that now we enjoy revenue higher than we had before the down economy. But it was really tough, and so I can certainly relate with an artist who has to go through when art, and being a fairly new mom, a mom of twin boys, it's been in the forefront of my consciousness that we start our children with art and music and all of this creative energy. And then unfortunately, it's the first thing that goes when budgets are cut. So I want to make sure that art isn't an elective, I think as Efren says, but it's part of a mandatory curriculum. Art allows us to get creative in other ways, not just in that form that we're producing producing as artists or that we create as students in school. So again, I definitely feel like I walk hand in hand with my fellow artists, everything from understanding the challenges. I was talking about when we met how I can haggle with the best of them. I go to flea markets and I will haggle all the way, but I never haggle with artists. I know how tough it can be. I know the challenges, and so I am happy to pay whatever price is listed for art. It's something that I feel like just in my gut I cannot do. I know what it takes to put something together, and so again, you have the biggest art supporter here. I'm proud to stand with you and make sure that we have art incorporated into our city as we move forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Present to you our monthly newsletter.
Okay, fantastic.
Take it home
Okay.
and would you introduce your husband?
Hi, I'm Diego. I don't think other than you, I don't think
Diego, nice to meet you.
Yes. And Diego is a fantastic partner as he indulges me in all of the extracurricular activities. I've been a volunteer for many years, everything from the arts to community, business education, and philanthropy like Habitat for Humanity and For the Child here in Long Beach. And so he definitely picks up where we leave off at home, so I can go out and contribute to my community. So thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Earlier it was mentioned that the 1%, the source of the 1% was still undecided. Is that the case? And do you have ideas about that?
Well, the sourcing is we just have to figure out how we're going to add, as a public project, how we're going to add that 1% to the project. Because now, let's say we have, again, a $1 million project. That project's budget doesn't stay at $1 million. It's $1 million plus the 1%. So we just have to figure out how that's paid for. So what ideas that I have to increase the general fund would help with those things. And again, we already have that for private projects with the downtown plan. And as I met with one of the developers or the developer for the project on First in Alamitos, I first ventured to ask the question why they chose the East Village to develop. I already knew the answers they were going to give me. I mean, we love the East Village for all the charm, the architecture, and the art, and the culture that we have there. And so it wasn't surprising that I heard those were the answers as to why they chose to develop in East Village. And so I challenged the developer to make sure that they kept the integrity of our neighborhood. And I challenged him to add more than 1% to his art budget, because it's not only a gateway, if you will, into the East Village, but it's this new development, this new opportunity to make an impact with the arts, especially being in the East Village. So again, I'm very happy that we already have that 1% component for private projects, and it's the public ones that we really have to think about. Because if we don't have ideas to increase our general fund, then one, we won't be able to pay for public projects, but two, we won't be able to add that additional 1%. And I certainly have ideas on how to make that happen, and it's not by taxing our residents. We're tapped out on a lot of the ways that government seems to ask us to go into our pockets, right? What I believe, especially having to go through a down economy with my business, is that we have to get creative and make sure that just as I found ways to make it happen and keep my doors open, it's the same approach that we have to take in City Hall. Is make sure that we're looking at everything and not just counting on people to bail us out as is tax related, but having sustainable ways.
I watched your video candidacy because we were too busy eating art that night. That your 1% for sales tax, you would prefer not to be put that on Long Beach.
Yes, that's right.
And I noticed that a lot of them said were for it, and I'm not for it. I think it takes away maybe
of Long Beach, where we can't put ourselves in a disadvantage. We have Orange County with a completely different county tax base at just 10 minutes down the road, and then we have all the other cities that surround us. And so, in the big scheme of things, adding perhaps one thing may be okay, but when we add all of this stuff to the businesses and the residents of the city of Long Beach, it just doesn't make sense. We don't want to hinder our ability to thrive. And again, as residents, you'll hear my opponent say that it's shared with the tourists that come to this town. But guess who lives here every day? Not the tourists. Tourists come for maybe a week, 2 weeks at a time, and it's us as residents that have to pay that tax every single day. And the numbers that they gave about being about $5-ish, between $5 and $6 a month extra. I just think they get creative with their numbers. If you really do the math, it could impact us a lot more than $5 or $6 a month. We can't take these band-aid approaches to our general fund. And so we talked about it tonight, and yes, I was the only candidate who says, well, wait a minute. Has anyone asked the question how we're going to pay for public safety when after year 6, this tax goes to 0.5%, and then year 10, when it goes away altogether, right? So when we pay for infrastructure, that's one thing, but when we're adding men and women of public safety back, we're putting more jobs out there, how are we going to pay for it when it goes away? And let's just say we get really conservative with my numbers. So right now, at a 1% extra, we will get about $47 million in revenue a year. Let's just round it up to 50 for 10 years. That is $500 million. We have a $3 billion need for infrastructure. Is anybody wondering where the rest of the money is going to come from? And that's not really the money that we're going to get. I think it's 248 around $1 million that this tax will produce for the city of Long Beach in 10 years. And that has to pay for public safety and it has to pay for infrastructure. And no one is really answering the question and addressing the real issue. How do we increase our general fund in a responsible, sustainable way so we're not adding these band-aid solutions to a problem that we're always going to have? We're such a big city with a ton of assets, from port to airport, convention center. I mean, you name it, we have it, as other great cities do here, even in California. There's no reason why we should have a budget deficit. Now, I'm going to take my business acumen and take it into City Hall, ask the questions that no one else seems to be asking, and also making sure that we start responsibly, that we take care of the now, but nobody wants to start something that's long-term because that takes too long. But I always say, it's like going to the gym. We wish we would have started a year ago because we would have been a year into it. And the same thing here. If we have a 10-year plan, let's say, to increase revenue in our general fund, we have to start now. Because had we started 5 years ago, we'd be 5 years closer to that deal. And again, no one is asking, no one is planning for that, no one is saying how we're going to pay for these things after this tax sunsets. It's just like, well, by that time, hopefully our business increases and our economy does better, maybe oil prices will go up. It's not good enough. We need real solutions.
And you have a marketing degree?
I do.
In Art Institute.
Yes, I went to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising downtown LA. Yes. It costs a pretty penny, but just how I was able to work my way. I worked 2 jobs, 2 20-hour jobs, particularly type job while going to school full time. And so I'm not new to having to make tough decisions and finding a way to make things happen. I paid my own way for college. I did have parents who could pay for it, so I probably paid for it myself. Again, took a business through the down economy. So these things are not new to me. I'm a doer and a go-getter because that's how I was raised. Those are the traits and the qualities that my mom taught me. So I always find a way to make it happen. There's a will, there's a way. There's definitely truth, as was, I forget, somebody else. And I know that I got involved in the Washington neighborhood as an adult because Habitat for Humanity started building there. So I wanted to give back to the neighborhood in which I grew up. So I connected with Habitat. And I said, Habitat is building a lot in that neighborhood. I'm sure they'd be very interested in being part of the solution as well.
we connect all of those? Yeah. Didn't mean I did it. I had nothing to do with it, but the idea was out there that if Long Beach State Initiative is looking to do something to curb crime and get youth involved in other things, that perhaps here are all these folks doing parallel work, let's connect them so we can have a real robust solution to that. My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I will leave some flyers on the table. You can check out my website for more information. And my email address is on there, should you have any questions after this.
I would want to submit work to your design.
Okay, fantastic. Contacted me on that email, that goes directly to me.
Okay.
And we'll make it happen.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So we're done, guys. Feel free to talk to each other, and thank you guys for your time. Like always, we appreciate that.